Hello, my favorite fifth graders. How are you? Hope you're doing good and ready to go with our lesson 8.3, lesson 3 of our module, representing multiplication with unit fractions. Let's get started here. Let me show you what I've got. I've got your workbook page right here. Oops, let me get down here maybe. All right. Let's see what's happening today. We have a juice shop that has different sizes of drinks. The regular size drink is 1/3 of the size of the supersized drink. The mini size drink is 1/5 of the size of the regular size drink. Oh boy. So made me think of Starbucks as I was reading this. So if we have 1/3 of the regular drink is 1/3 of the supersized drink, and the mini size drink is 1/5 of the regular size drink. Into how many drinks would you divide a supersized drink to show 1/3? So the regular is 1/3. So if we were going to divide this to show the supersized is 1/3, how many parts did we divide into? We would divide into 3 parts. Good. And let's see if I can get that. It looks a little blurry on my end. All right. Into how many drinks would you divide a regular size to show the 1/5? So if I were going to show that that mini size drink is 1/5, we would divide it into 5 parts, or I guess I should say drinks, because that's what they're asking. So drinks. What fraction of the supersized drink is the mini drink? So if we think about, this is 1/3 of this one, which is this one's 1/5 of this one. So we would use our denominators. We want 1/5 of that 1/3. So each of those parts, or each of those, would be 1/15. Okay. If we're going to draw a visual model to find this product, well, if we look at it, we know that it's going to be 1/12. When we're working with unit fractions, our numerator is going to be 1. We did 1 times 1. Our denominator, 2 times 6 is 12. What does that model look like? If we draw 1 bar, and I have 1/2 of 1/6, I'm going to divide this into 6. And then if I have, this is 1/6, if I have 1/2 of that, I can go a number of ways, but if I have just 1/2 of that, right, then all of them have to be divided into halves, because we want equal parts when we're working with fractions. So then you'll see this 1/12, if I just have 1/2 of this 1/6, I have this 1, there's my numerator, and now I have a total of 12 parts in my model. So that's where the 1/12 comes from. All right. Enzo has a block of clay. He cuts off 1/4 of the block to make a bowl. So that of comes into play with our whole block of clay, 1/4 of it. Then he realizes he has too much clay, and he uses 1/6 of that 1/4 to make his bowl. How much of the original block of clay does Enzo use to make his bowl? So if you think about it, he had 1/4 of the entire block of clay. So 1/4 of 1, or 1/4 times 1, he has that 1/4, and he uses 1/6 of the 1/4. So notice I put that in front, 1/6 of the 1/4. So he has 1/24 of the clay. We're being very mindful of our labels or of the original block, 1/24. So right there, we just needed an equation. It doesn't ask us to model that. Here we have a number line, which I talked in class. I think of a number line the same way I would think about that bar model, only now I'm putting it on this number line. An internet company spends half of their yearly profits on advertising for the next year. Of the remaining half, they spend 1/5 on new computers. What fraction of the total profits does the company spend on the new computers? Use the number line to show it. So here I have a number word, half, and they spend of the remaining half. So that's kind of important for our work. And we're trying to determine what fraction of the total profits. So if they're spending half of their money on advertising for the next year, I'm going to, on this number line, I'm going to show 1/2. I could have moved over a little bit. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'll move it over a little bit. There's our 1/2. So this is what they're spending on advertising, and I could label that as advertising. Here's the remaining half. They're spending 1/5 of this remaining half on their computers. So 1/5 of that. Now we have fifths here. If they're spending 1/5 of that 1/2, I also have to remember, if I have divided one part of my number line or model, I have to divide the other part. So now I have how many parts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each of these is a 1/10, 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10. But if they are just using 1/5 of this remaining half, that 1/5 is going to be just 1/10, right? So we have a number line. What I did was 1/5 of 1/2 on that number line equals that 1/10. Now, I know that in class we've been doing 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've been labeling them and counting on as tenths. But because we're at this part where it says the remaining half, if they're using 1/5, that's just one part, one of those tenths. Okay, so no matter where it fell on this number line, it's still just the 1/10. All right, if you have questions about that, make sure you bring them to class and we can talk about it a little bit more. Let's see about this test prep. If I'm going to multiply 1/7 times 1/4, because these are just unit fractions, I know that 1 times 1 equals 1. Multiply my denominators. 1 times 7 equals 28. So our answer is going to be A right there. Select all the expressions that equal 1/24. All of these have 1 in the numerator since we're just talking unit fractions. So I'm going to pay attention to the denominators. 12 times 4, that equals 4. That would be 1/48 right there. 8 times 3, that would be 1/24. 4 times 6, that would be 1/24. 3 times 9 would be 1/27. 2 times 12, that would be 1/24. So I think we have B, C, and E for those answers there. All right, again, we're going to multiply our unit fractions. Unit fractions have 1 for their numerator. 1 times 1 is 1. 9 times 7 is 63. That's our final answer there. So Ahmed has a large can of applesauce. He gives 1/3 of the applesauce to Sasha. Sasha uses 1/10 of the applesauce to bake muffins. How much of the original container of applesauce does Sasha use to bake muffins? So he gives 1/3 to Sasha. She uses 1/10 of that 1/3. So here is our of. This first one, 1/3 of the large can. So 1/3 times 1 We have 1/3. That's what he gives to Sasha. She uses, I'm going to move this around because the situation says she uses 1/10 of the 1/3. How much of the original container does Sasha use? 1/30 of the can, of the total can, 1/30. All right, that's it for your test prep. Add or subtract using a common denominator. I have sixths and I have halves. So I'm going to do 3 1/6 plus 4 3/6 equals 7 4/6. If you simplify that, it would be 7 2/3. Here, I have a 4 and a 3. I'm going to use 12. So I have 3 3/12 minus 1 8/12. Oh, I cannot do 3 minus 8. What I can do is multiply my, subtract my whole numbers. 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 minus 8 is a minus 5/12. And then I can rename my 2 as 1 12/12 minus 5/12 would equal 1 7/12. So you could have used the Columbia C on this one. You could have renamed your lead fraction first, and you will still get the same answer of 1 7/12. We're just adding now. I have a 4 and a 12. I'm going to adjust that to be 6/12 plus 3/12 equals 9/12, which could be simplified to 3/4. Either one of these answers, just like here, either one of those answers would have been correct. 2/6 plus 1/4. I'm going to go with 12ths here. 4/12 plus 3/12 and get 7/12. All right, that was our lesson for today. You did a great job in class. I hope that with this extra practice now that you are feeling pretty comfortable and confident with our lesson. Bring any questions you have to class. And as always, if there's a challenge, let me know. I will see you later.